This is Hannibal from the HannibalTV.com, and I'm about to review the 350 Days movie. As you can see, they sent me a shirt. They gave me a hat. The producers of the movie are very nice. They've given me interviews with Greg Valentine when I've seen them at conventions. I know that they've watched a lot of the content on my own channel, so I am a little biased giving this review. Also, superstar Billy Graham is one of the main characters of the review. Former WWE champion, holds the record for most Madison Square Garden consecutive sellouts, 19 out of 20 as a main eventer, and he's, of course, in the WWE Hall of Fame. So him being a star, I'm going to be a little biased as well. I did enjoy the movie overall. Bret Hart's also in it. He's very candid about drugs and girls and a lot of different stuff in the movie. Mr. Wonderful, Paul Orndorff, who I've done an interview with, Greg Valentine, who I've done an interview with, Jimmy Snuka, who was recently featured on Dark Side of the Ring, where you see all the bad allegations about Snuka, but in this movie, 350 Days, you get to see the other side of Jimmy Snuka, the friendly side, and how he was in his older days. Wendy Richter, former WWE Women's Champion, who was part of the Rock and Wrestling Connection, had a screw job done to her by the fabulous Moolah, allegedly. She's featured in this movie. Ted DiBiase is featured in this movie, who's recently been in the news for reportedly receiving several millions of dollars to his Heart of David Ministries that was supposed to go to families in need of welfare and so forth. So he's a controversial and current character these days. He does discuss in the movie how he was unfaithful to his wife up until WrestleMania 8, when apparently his wife caught him. According to Psycho Sid, who DiBiase managed in WWE in 95, Sid told me personally, even in 95, Sid, or $1 Million Man, was still being unfaithful to his wife. So who knows if what DiBiase was saying about being a changed man is true. The masked superstar Bill Eadie, as I look at the shirt, sorry, you guys can't see, I'm looking at it to be reminded of all the characters. Bill Eadie, who was also Acts of Demolition. I've done a Demolition full shoot interview. He's in this movie. He was one of the most down-to-earth wrestlers. George the Animal Steele, who has passed away now, is featured heavily in it. Who else am I missing? Abdullah the Butcher. One of the reasons I initially didn't want to watch the movie was because Abdullah was in it, and I won't get into the whole situation, but I'll tell you the brief version of it for anyone that doesn't know, is he had hepatitis C for at least 10 years before he had his first wrestling match against me. And he cut me in one of our wrestling matches with a used blade approximately 40 seconds after he cut himself multiple times, transmitted hepatitis C to me. It was proven in both U.S. and Canadian courts, and he's been delinquent on paying the judgment up to this point, so he has a bit of heat with me. Someone asked me actually the other day, is there anyone else that was known to have caught hepatitis C that Abdullah wrestled over the years? Well, King Curtis Iakea passed away from liver issues related to hepatitis C. Ivan Koloff had liver issues related to hepatitis C. Jacques Rougeau had hepatitis C, was cured. Luke Williams had hepatitis C, was cured. Billy Graham had hepatitis C, was cured. These are all people that wrestled with Abdullah over the years. I'm not saying he necessarily gave it to them through sharing blades. I'm just saying there was a lot of blood in the old days of wrestling, and they also get into the bloody side of wrestling in this video as I shut off my phone. So overall, I would recommend it. The only negative thing I would say about it is it could have been a little bit shorter. There were some wrestlers in here that they interviewed that are less recognizable. that maybe I didn't find as interesting for those reasons. But overall, I would recommend the movie. Thanks for the shirt. And in the description of this video, if you want to know how you could rent the movie on Amazon or buy it or buy any of the merchandise, the link to how you can do that is in the description. I'll also pin it to the top of my comments. And as I said, my favorite personal parts of the movie are them talking candidly about the drugs and the groupies. Bret Hart talks about how Bret also talked about this in his book, how sometimes if they had early flights after WWE tapings, they would just all sit in a hotel room, fill the bathtub with ice, dump beer in it, and they'd sit around doing cocaine all night, drinking beer and telling wrestling tales. And Bret's not shy about talking about that in this. So very interesting. Billy Graham and Bret Hart were my highlights. They also get into fan attacks, which I've discussed. So a lot of topics I discuss right here on this channel. So I suggest not only look up my videos on fan attacks, groupies, all sorts of stuff on this channel, the Montreal Screwjob, and at the same time, look at the link in the description and check out 350 Days. And the way the name 350 Days came from is wrestlers, unlike today, used to be on the road 350 days a year. Rich Rodeo says he hasn't watched it yet, but it sounds interesting. I'd recommend it if you're a shoot interview fan. Rooney TV says it's not bad. Bought it a while ago, just seen it recently. Well, I just saw it on Sunday, so it was a couple days ago. If there's anything I'm missing out, watch it. Watch it for yourself. Check it out. If you're a fan of shoot interviews, you'll probably like this movie. So follow the description and it'll take you to the official website. Thank you again to the producers. As you can see, my blister on my hand from using my sledgehammer earlier today on my tire, since the gyms are closed and I have to work out outside like a caveman, throwing a tire around, bashing it with a sledgehammer. Have a good night. Follow us on Instagram and Twitter at the Hannibal TV.